Once again, this is the one-day chart. Let's talk about XRP now. When we sit here, the time is 2.97. There was another benefit to XRP. Where do we go from here? Everyone predicts we'll hit a new all-time high before the end of this week, but it's too early to tell. So that's how I see things. The old season has begun. Now is the time. Everyone is yelling. We have been anticipating it. However, throughout this cycle, there have been other instances of sideways movement and delay in the price of XRP and cryptocurrencies in general. Bitcoin is now worth more than $112,000 again. Will it, however, keep rising? You know, Bitcoin has been tightly regulated during this entire cycle. In fact, you could see it, especially as you zoomed out, because every time it looked like it could explode and go much higher, something suddenly pushed it back down. And will it continue that way? I hope not. No, the season is not yet over, but it does seem bullish moving forward. This isn't because Bitcoin will affirm that the season is about to begin if it continues to break out from here. We are currently at 59, but yesterday we were actually about 65. Until we hit 75, it's still Bitcoin or Ethereum season. After that, it will be all season. Analyst Davey Satoshi contends that the XRP setup is too obvious to ignore and backs a $30 price point. He no longer discusses previous cycles or anything of the sort, focusing only on Ripple's acquisition of Rail and its partnership with Thune. He thinks that XRP's current price of $30 will be driven by momentum. We shall be in an old season, like in previous cycles. There was always an old season. The prior season would be increased by this amount. Because of this, a lot of people brought up 3 or 5 three-digit numbers, which range from $100 to $500. Since XRP is expected to hit $27 in a normal old season, some people are citing $1,000 or more during this run. Nevertheless, you also consider everything else, which is why people believe XRP will have a remarkable run. A market psychologist advises keeping a watch on XRP this week. He's also talking about where XRP might go from here and bringing up the period when it was at 50 cents. I was unaware that we had market psychologists on staff. I think his long-term forecast of $46 for XRP is conservative, because most conservatives currently anticipate $20 or higher. These same people were predicting roughly $10 earlier in this cycle. Although it appears that the news story for XRP is 50 plus, this is how I view it. Along the way, we'll reach a number of price points. Everyone was saying 20 plus last year while we were sitting at 50 cents. The one thing you don't want to happen is selling too soon because someone tells you the top is in. This market is not entirely reliable. That's the main point I make. People are already forecasting that this price range will see the top. Many things that have not yet occurred are still pending, and all of them will take place in a very short time. Therefore, at that price point, we truly don't know. Despite XRP's efforts to recover, exchange inflows are not promising. As a result, they are currently talking about 300 million XRP arriving on the markets. They don't know where it came from or whether it has anything to do with market makers or anything. They simply say that this is not good for XRP, but then they say that XRP is not so awful. Okay, so you claimed in this article that the entry of XRP onto the exchanges was a terrible thing, but you then decided that it wasn't so bad. When I say these articles suddenly, I mean that. They want as many people to want to read the article as they can. In other words, they wanted to gain momentum. How do they accomplish that then? They disseminate false information regarding XRP. It's not as horrible as you might expect. The plot then spins. And it seems like everyone is doing that these days, especially when the market is down. Criticism of XRP is very common right now. This is the reason I always tell and exhort you to stay away from the negative. Therefore, people who are telling you to sell your XRP now will also say that they have never sold and have always had high hopes for the cryptocurrency. Don't let the negative consume you. Then there is this ledger executive who warns against completing any blockchain transactions due to a serious crypto attack using JavaScript. I only read the following. For the time being, avoid making any on-chain transactions if you don't have a hardware wallet. What's going on here? Or are they trying to sell more ledgers? Because they're saying that if you check the address and everything else, you're safe. I'm not sure what they meant by this message, but once more, it makes people wonder what's going on. Are the wallets safe? Is my cryptocurrency safe? I'm at a loss for words, and some folks think this is a fake. Since Ledger's CTO had blogged about it on X, they even asked me if there was a serious issue with the company. Why hasn't this issue been brought up on the support page of the Ledger website? Is the Ledger CEO account on X or the official Ledger account on X a scam or something authentic? Some claim that while this was completely true, Ledger was unrelated to it. Instead, it has to do with the supply chain. Instead, a major NPM maintainer's account was hijacked and malicious updates were distributed to libraries with billions of downloads. The software changes crypto addresses during transactions to send money to attackers. Users should audit dependencies, pin safe versions, and verify all wallet transactions. The most secure wallets are still hardware wallets. Once more, is this an attack on Zaman as they said they haven't seen any issues and I trust Westwind? Using the Zaman wallet, the guy truly made an amazing wallet. Is the purpose of this to encourage more ledgers? This is the crucial question since no one else is genuinely covering it. Here's what I think about it. As long as you protect your Bitcoin and check the address before sending or transferring it, you should be safe. But in the days ahead, I'm sure we'll find out more. NASDAQ files with the SEC to allow tokenization and blockchain listing of equities. It will arrive. Because of this, NASDAQ has asked the SEC to allow the trading of stocks and exchange-traded products in traditional or tokenized digital formats on its main market.